We're not even 48 hours into the NBA offseason, and we already have a blockbuster trade. The first of possibly many, or at least the first of many blockbuster moves. The Los Angeles Lakers have traded for Anthony Davis, and in exchange, the Pelicans got Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and 3 first-round draft picks. And that includes the 4th overall pick in Thursday night's NBA draft. Now, I want to look over this trade from a short-term perspective and a long-term perspective. For a short-term perspective, I think that the Lakers hit a home run. However, I don't think this was what the Lakers wanted to do from the beginning. I think that the Lakers were going to try to go after a major free agent in this offseason. And by that free agent, I mean Kevin Durant. I think the Lakers are going to try to make a big push at Kevin Durant, doing whatever it took to get Kevin Durant on the Lakers. But since Kevin Durant got injured in the playoffs, and then he got injured again in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, I think that the Lakers all of a sudden got panicked a little bit. They tried the next best thing, possibly Klay Thompson. But I think there was a strong chance that Klay Thompson was going to still be a Warrior for the 2019-2020 season. And since Kevin Durant is going to miss the 2019-2020 season, and Klay Thompson was most likely going to sign a max deal with Golden State anyway, they had to take the next best thing available, and that was Anthony Davis. The Lakers, they had to hit a home run in free agency to make the fans happy, because right now, where the Lakers were sitting, where the Lakers are probably still sitting at this point, because this trade can't go through till July 1st when free agency begins. But I think that the Lakers, they weren't willing to make that sacrifice for Kevin Durant. I think now that he got injured in the NBA Finals, and then he's going to be out for the entire season next year, most likely, the Lakers didn't want to sacrifice a whole year, and then year 2 of the LeBron James 4-year plan or 4-year contract would go to waste, because then you're only giving 2 years for LeBron James to have his supporting cast of characters. And Anthony Davis and LeBron James are quite similar. They are players that are top 5 players in the league, in my opinion, of course, that don't have supporting casts around him, that never really had supporting casts around him. LeBron didn't have that last year, and Anthony Davis hasn't had that in his entire career, pretty much. Although he did have Boogie Cousins, but come on, it's Boogie Cousins. Boogie Cousins is the 5th best player on the Warriors. So I think that now you're building those two into similar ground. I think the chemistry is going to work very well between LeBron and Anthony Davis. I think they're both have the same mentality, both first overall draft picks. So I think this is going to work short term. And the reason why I say short term is because I think that there's no way LeBron James is going to stay in Los Angeles when his 4-year contract is up. So really, they only have 3 years to bring an NBA championship to Los Angeles. They only have 3 years to do it. And I do have a bold prediction about the end of LeBron James's NBA career, but I'm going to save it for another day. But from a short-term perspective, the Lakers won this trade. Long-term perspective on how the Pelicans will and ultimately ended up winning this trade. Because I think Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart, I think they have potential. And the Pelicans are going to have a young team for years to come. And 3 first-round draft picks, including that 4th overall draft pick in Thursday night's draft. I think the Pelicans, if they can master the draft picks, if they can build up those draft picks, I think the Pelicans, they're going to end up wiping the floor with this trade from Los Angeles, because the Pelicans, they are willing to trust the process a bit. The Pelicans fans, they're not as impatient as Lakers fans are, because Lakers fans, They want to get back to relevance. They want to get back to winning championships. And right now the Lakers, they're set up with a 3-year plan to bring a championship back to Los Angeles. Because right now the Lakers are just fighting to get back to relevance. Like I said at the top, that I think the Lakers, they originally wanted to get Kevin Durant. And I think that's why the Lakers, I think that was the real reason why the Lakers were holding out from trading for Anthony Davis at the trade deadline. I don't think it was a matter of trying to find a reasonable trade, because right now the Lakers, they're going to win this trade short term, but the Pelicans, they're going to win it in the long run. Because I think that Lonzo Ball, even though Lonzo Ball has been speculated to be a bust by so many, I think if he works on his craft, he's got potential. Do I think he's going to be a Steph Curry? No. Do I think Lonzo Ball can be a solid point guard in the National Basketball Association? Yes, if he works on his craft. And I think maybe a new environment for Lonzo Ball could help him out a little bit, because Lonzo Ball has dealt with the pressure from his dad, LeVar. I think maybe a new environment could maybe make Lonzo a better player, and it could make him a much better athlete, could make him much better character, knowing that he doesn't have to face the pressure of his dad, LeVar Ball. Even though his dad's going to still follow where he goes, I think, considering that you're playing for a franchise like the Pelicans or the Lakers, much less pressure to try to win now. Because at the Warriors, they built up through the draft, but then they added Kevin Durant. So I think the Pelicans are going to win this trade overall. But the real question is, I want to really get to what this 4th overall draft pick is going to be. Because I said in my 1.0 that I think the first 3 picks in Thursday night's NBA draft are set in stone. I think Zion's going to go number 1. I think Ja Morant is going to go number 2. I think RJ Barrett is going to go number 3. Then that real draft doesn't begin until that 4th overall pick. And now that the Pelicans had that 4th overall pick, they're going to begin the draft, I think, twice. So I think whatever the Pelicans do at 4 could set the tone for that rest of the, at least, lottery section. Although I think the Pelicans, I think they just need to kind of get who I think could be the best player available. Do you go with Darius Garland? I think that the Lakers were going to go with Darius Garland if this trade for Anthony Davis didn't go through. I think they were probably going to at least try to be in the running for a big-time, big-market player. And Anthony Davis was probably the second one in line. I think it went Durant, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson. That was your top 3. And I think Kawhi could end up being 4. So the Lakers, they're doing okay in this offseason. I think they're going to be set up nicely for the short term. But the long term, I'm still concerned about, because the Lakers, they gave up a bunch of draft picks. They gave up 3 first-round draft picks, including a 4th overall draft pick. But they still kept Kyle Kuzma, who I think was the best player that the Lakers have had, that they had other than LeBron James in 2018, 2019. But although Woj said that there are teams that are interested in that 4th overall pick that the Pelicans now have. So the Pelicans, they now have 2 top 5 picks, and if you want to make it sound even sweeter, 2 top 4 picks. They've got 2 picks in the top 4. And there are possibly teams that are going to try to make a deal. I think depending on which team it is, you may want to take that kind of deal. But if I were in the Pelicans position, I would keep that 4th overall pick, because that pick can go a long way. If you draft the right person, it could be a difference between possibly making long playoff runs year in and year out, or just a complete what if, or a kind of another draft bust. But I think some teams that are possibly going to be interested in trading to that 4th overall pick, you got to look at the teams that are going to have multiple first-round draft picks. You've got the Boston Celtics with 3 first-round draft picks. You have the Atlanta Hawks with 3 first-round draft picks. you've got the Spurs with multiple first-round draft picks. So I think that the teams that are going to try to get this 4th overall pick from the Pelicans are going to be the teams that have multiple first-round draft picks in Thursday night's draft. And I think that's going to be the pick to watch out for, is pick number 4. Because like I said in my 1.0, that's where I felt like the real NBA draft is going to begin. That's where I think that it will end up beginning. Because the first 3 picks, they're set in stone. I don't care what any rumor says. That Williamson, Morant, and Barrett, they're going to go 1, 2, 3. And the real draft doesn't begin until pick number 4. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Pelicans, if they're going to receive any offers for the 4th overall pick, or if they're just going to hold on to it. Because I think the smart move will be to hold on to it. But I think there could be some teams, like I said, the teams with multiple first-round draft picks that can afford to give up some draft capita, give up quantity draft capita for quality draft capita, like the teams with multiple first-round draft picks. So that's all I've got on this. Comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you within the next couple of days with my NBA Mock Draft 2.0. And it's going to be shuffled around a little bit with this big news today. I'll see you then.